Hello students, today we are going to study the piece A Visit to Cambridge by Firdaus Kanga. To understand this piece of work, we must first have a brief background of the author. Our author, Firdaus Kanga, was born in 1960 in Mumbai's Parsi community. He is a writer, journalist and an actor. Born with osteogenesis imperfecta, a disease which gives you brittle bones, he has been a strong advocate of the rights of disabled or differently abled people all his life. His most well-known works are the semi-autobiographical novel Trying to Grow, based on his experiences in India, and Heaven on Wheels, which describes his travels in UK. He has also played the lead in Sixth Happiness, the film adaptation of Trying to Grow. His documentary, named Double the Trouble, Twice the Fun, deals with sexuality and disability. This is an anecdotal piece where Kanga recounts a personal experience. It starts with the author stating how his visit to Cambridge has given him the experience of visiting the country of England. Most importantly, his encounter with Stephen Hawking in Cambridge has hugely changed his view of the place. While moving around Cambridge, he hears a guide describe Hawking as a poor man who is quite disabled now, though he is a worthy successor to Isaac Newton, whose chair he has at the university. Kanga immediately resolves to meet him. He pleads with Hawking's assistant on phone for an appointment with him. He mentions how he is writing of his own travels around Britain in a wheelchair. Kanga manages a half-an-hour meeting with Hawking. Kanga's chief motivation in meeting the great astrophysicist and writer of A Brief History of Time is personal. He wishes to meet someone brilliant who also moves around in a wheelchair like him. Kanga mentions how courage has a special meaning for the disabled. All his life, he has been asked to be brave. When Kanga asks Hawking about bravery, he replies by tapping at a little switch which types words on a computer screen. He says that bravery has nothing to do with the life he leads. There was no other choice for him but to live the life he has been leading. Kanga observes with rapt attention how Stephen's disintegrated body struggles with the exhaustion of talking with his fingers. He also records how much time he takes to respond to each of his queries. Both agree that people's assumption of disabled people being chronically or permanently unhappy is a common misunderstanding. It is filled with patronization or a feeling of superiority. Kanga now throws a more personal question, asking Hawking if visitors like him disturbs him. Hawking politely agrees with Kanga, smiling his one-way smile that enchants Kanga. It is a smile that stretches one side of his face because his other side is paralyzed. The author keeps drawing conclusions by closely observing Stephen's body. His eyes are the only animated part of his immobile body, which offers Kanga a glimpse of the real human being. It makes him realize what we are in our basic forms. Our bodies are only the outer shell. Hawking's views match with Kanga's on many occasions. Kanga tells Hawking that he thinks that one's disability makes one aware of the kindness in the world. The scientist agrees with a typed yes. The author tries taking cues from Hawking's body language. However, he regrets the disadvantage that typed words do not convey the extent to which he agrees with Kanga. Technology is devoid of the tone or inflection that a human voice carries. Kanga marvels at the brilliance Hawking is capable of, irrespective of his inanimate body. He is filled with hope regarding the possibilities of his own crippled body pinned to a wheelchair. Hawking says disabled people should focus on what they do well, rather than participating in activities like the Olympics for the disabled. Kanga agrees, thinking of the time when he had tried learning to play a Spanish guitar. He soon stopped because it was impractical. This tells us that the differently abled should not waste their time by proving their mettle at activities meant for the able or the physically fit. Hawking asks Kanga to stay back for tea and then takes him around every inch of his garden, which is as big as a park. The two men on wheelchair move around in silence since the sun makes the words on Hawking's computer screen invisible. Though Kanga is overwhelmed and transformed by the encounter, he cannot convey his emotions to Hawking. He just touches Hawking on the shoulder before departing. If Cambridge has been the representative of England for Firdaus Kanga, Stephen Hawking now stands for Kanga's bravest self. Hawking embodies or symbolizes the self or the person Kanga has been trying to become for many years. He feels that he now has an ally on his lonely inward journey through life. With his visit to Stephen Hawking, Kanga realizes that his journey, both inward and outward in Britain, has ended for the time being. This inspiring story of Firdaus Kanga helps us closely follow a day in the lives of two disabled people. It shows us how the differently abled must defy the expectations of people who tell them to bravely face their sufferings. Instead, they should utilize their efforts and their energies to become the best versions of themselves. With that, we come to the end of today's lesson. I hope this makes you a little thoughtful and inspires you to become the best versions of yourself as well. See you in our recap and QA videos on A Visit to Cambridge. Till then, goodbye.